What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Speak On It. I'm here with my boy Tamine, my baby Biff. He got the day off, but we got the jam-packed show for y'all tonight. Um, Basketball, football, baseball. We're gonna talk to y'all about our top 5 athletes of all time. So sit back, enjoy the show. So we're gonna jump right into it. You see the fight, the Lopez fight?
I did. I did.
Talk about it.
Uh, I think Tio looked good. I really think that he looked good at 140. I think that he had live competition. I mean, the guy Campos wasn't a slouch. Um, and he got him out of there in the seventh round. Yeah, I think the only round that, in my opinion, that he lost was probably the fifth round, which I think that was a toss up as well. Um, I mean, overall, man, it was a good night for him. It was definitely a good night for him.
I think it was a great night. I think for it to be his first fight back, I think it was great. Great tune-up fight. Like I said, I think he only lost like 1 or 2 rounds. I think the biggest thing for me was I want to see can he compete at the 140. You know what I mean? That was the biggest thing for me. And I know um, some people think that he can't. Uh, he can't compete with the big dogs. I think the jury's still out for me right now. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can't. I just don't know if he has uh, the boxing pedigree to fight in it or the knockout power to make noise in the 140. Um, so yeah, I think for me, I just don't. I think it was a good fight for him, but I just don't know if he has shown me enough or in that fight to say yeah he can compete with the big boys in at 140.
I mean, I think he's a talented fighter. Um, I think that he showed in this fight that, I mean, power shouldn't be a problem. Skill shouldn't be a problem. It's just a matter of the competition. And with the likes of Josh Taylor being undisputed, you got Regis Porges, um, Ryan Garcia at 140. I mean, it's a lot of things that can be made at 140, um, to where I think he can compete, man. I really think he can. I
Um,
mean, he was undisputed at 135.
yeah, he was undisputed at 135, but even when we talk about now that's a tough division anyway. But if, when we talk about being at the 135, we was questioning is he what fifth at 135?
Yeah, 135. I think at 140 might be different. And I think that he said he went to. I don't know if he can make 135 still. They said that he's growing, so 140 might be comfortable for him. Um, I mean, either way, I think in that 135, 140 range is it's a toss up. I think it's one of the things that we talk about in basketball in the playoffs. It's a matter of matchups and styles make fights. And if you catch the right one at the right time, um, like I think that he might could catch Josh Taylor on a bad night and win a few of them belts. You know what I mean? So I think it's in that 135, 140 division. I feel like you got to stay on your P's and Q's because at any given moment, anything can happen. And I mean, there's so many things that can be building within the next 2 to 3 years of different matchups from 135 all the way up to 147 if they grow up that that weight. So I mean, it's just a matter of matchups. And I really think that Lopez can figure his way out and figure his way to a championship at 140.
So who you think he should fight next?
Um, money wise, Ryan Garcia, but I know that that's not going to happen. Skill wise, I think Regis will be a good skill tester. I'm not going to say that he's ready for the likes of Josh Taylor, but that'll make sense for Bob Arum to put that together. So I mean, those are three guys right there. I mean, he can if Adrian Broner gets past um, Omar Figueroa, that might be a nice little matchup. Maybe like at catchweight, maybe, or see if Broner can come down to 140. Broner did run 140 at one point, at one time.
Yeah, I think the Ryan Garcia fight, like you said, I think that'll be a good fight. Like you said, I don't know if we're ready for Taylor. Broner, I think for with both of them coming back, like you said, if you can get past the fight that the Broner get past who he about to fight, I think that'll be a good fight for them. Um, I just don't I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know what those bets. I think honestly, I think he should have stayed at 135
What? What?
because I think that is where all the fighters like everybody in 135. Yeah, not everybody, but almost everybody in 135. Like that's it's going to challenge you. It's going to test you. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, you beat Lomachenko, but it's like I feel as though like for me, if you lose in the division, you should stay. Like you shouldn't jump on like you just jump go to another unless that's your natural weight class. I don't feel like you should just automatically just jump up and jump ship that division. So I just
I
feel like you
mean,
should stay
honestly, though, he already accomplished what he wanted to accomplish at that division. I
yeah,
mean, he became the undisputed
but he
champion.
lost in that division.
Yeah, but he became the undisputed champion. So the next thing, you can't go up.
I think for me, the last thing I remember is you losing at 135.
That's true. That's
So
true.
like for me,
But
and then
now,
you come back and you at 140, and then I got questions at you. I got questions with you at 140 because of one the person you just fought, and then my last thought of you is you losing that 135 and that
the last
135.
guy he fought at 140 was decent.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last memory that we have now of Lopez is the fact that he got the seventh round knockout. So, I mean, no, he didn't erase losing the championship to Cambosis, but now he's moved on and he's won a fight at 140, and that's the last thing that we have is that he's a former undisputed champion at 135, and now he's at 140.
Listen, I'm a big proponent. You got to go beat the man that beat you, man. That's that's how I feel.
But does
You
that
gotta
make
go beat.
sense for him though? Money wise, does that make sense for him to rematch Cambosis?
No, it doesn't make. I mean, it'd be a great fight.
Yeah,
It'd be.
he probably want to get his get back, but he's probably like, not right now. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, as far as money wise, I get it. But money wise, still, who, like we just talked about, like even if you fight Broner or if you fight Ryan Garcia, that ain't gonna happen. I don't think the Ryan Garcia fight happens right away, and the Adrian Broner fight don't happen right away.
I mean, these are a lot of what ifs. I mean, uh, here's the thing. He's at 140. He won, and now it's time to see what Bob Arum's going to do with him as far as what matchups can be made. Is he going to go back down to 135 and fight the likes of what Lomo again? Does that make sense? No.
Nah, the Lomo fight don't make sense because he beat Lomo, but Cambosa, like you said, for me,
You got Haney.
yeah,
That might be the only. A lot of different ways he can go. And in boxing, it's always different ways that they go. They may not go onto the course. They'll say they're gonna fight somebody, and then all of a sudden you see somebody else they fighting on a date and all of that. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting though. Like I said, I think it was a good fight for him, good tune-up fight. Like you said, the last thing we saw of him was the 7th round knockout. But again, just a bias in me is if you get beat up by somebody, if you get beat by somebody, I think you should go and
to get
you know what
back.
I mean? You gotta get your get back. Yeah, I mean, especially again because when Kambosa is he a top guy at 135, so you got to go get your get back. You know what I mean? So like you didn't jump from. And again, the boy he just fought. He not no scrub. You know what I mean, but it wasn't like you jumped from fighting that upper echelon talent to now fighting the upper echelon talent at the 140.
Think about it though. Danny Garcia just did that. I mean, he didn't like. It wasn't the same thing, but at the same time, like Danny lost his
But
last
Danny
fight at
went on a
147,
hiatus
and then
for a
moved up to
while.
154.
But Danny went on, and I get it. I get that. But Danny was struggling and facing dark, deeper issues. You know what I mean? Like Danny reinvented himself. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, but I get what you're saying. But Danny reinvented himself. He had to reinvent himself in and out of the ring. So, but I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying. So, um, the NBA just retired Bill Russell number, the
Mm-hmm.
whole NBA, which I love that they did because of what he did for the game, playing in Boston at that time, being the winningest basketball player ever. Um, so I think that it was the right thing to do, but it did have me thinking, um, who else would you want to see jersey retired?
Hmm. And if I had a choice, um, Hank Aaron's 44.
I
Uh,
like Hank. I like Hank.
and I would say number 12,
Tom.
Tom Brady. Yeah.
So you you're in my notes, but Tom, I didn't put Tom on the list because he's still playing. So that's why I put Tom on the list. But as soon
He
as he
got seven
retired,
of them.
huh?
He got 7 of them.
As soon as he retired, bro. I so I think well I'm gonna preface this by what I'm about to say by saying this. I do have 2 football players on my list, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's tough to retire. I'm just talking about league wide. I think it's tough in the NFL. It's tough to retire numbers like league wide because
Yeah.
you're talking about what 53 active, couple practice squad players, 32 teams. Like you retire 12. That's 53 men times 32 that
Right.
can't wear that number. Yeah, I mean, at least in basketball, like that's 30 teams, but it's only 15 players. I mean, that can't wear that number. But I do think I agree with you. I think as soon as Tom retire, probably nobody else should ever wear 12. Yeah, I mean because and this is why I say that because 20 I think 22 seasons the run that he had with New England where it was like he lived in the championship game. Like he basically, if you look at his percentages of when he was in Super Bowls, he was like I think it's like 56% of the time he was in the Super Bowl game. Like
How are
and he
you in
got
the Super Bowl half of your career, bro?
and he got and he got 7 of them. I think what he lost 3,
He lose to it.
2 to the Giants, 2 to the Giants, 2 to the Giants, 1 to the Eagles.
Okay, so yeah,
So he lost 3.
7-3.
And I think this is year 21 or 22. It don't matter. My man been like you said, almost half his career was in the Super Bowl game. Like you're never ever gonna see that ever again in life. Like he if Bill Russell's number is retired for what he did, what's the name should definitely for what Tom did in a sport, in a team sport,
Mhm.
his number should definitely be retired.
Now, who'd you have?
So my number, the first person I got is Kobe. Hold on, come on. I got Kobe. Oh my god.
Oh, shit.
Huh?
Oh, man, that hurt the heart, man.
That's. Come here, come here. That's my
Oh,
nephew.
no.
He like, bro, I'm trying to get up out of here. I'm trying to leave. Come on, come on, come on, come on. He like, man, I'm tired, dog. I'm trying to get up out of here. But I got Kobe, and the reason I put Kobe on the list is because I feel as though for what he did for the game, I think it's okay. He tired. But I think a lot of people don't understand what Kobe did for the game internationally. Like how he was trying to do. Can't hold on, bro.
Rental duties call. All day, every day.
They're like, man, he just went live. He just started. But for what Kobe, he's trying to go sleep. For what Kobe tried to do for the game internationally, for the basketball game in China, uh, doing stuff with the youth in China, just for what they did, what they tried to do for the WNBA. I just think that his impact on the game of basketball outside of the NBA is greater than um, it's just it's huge. You know what I mean,
Yeah,
it's more than just the NBA
most
for
definitely.
what Kobe was trying to do. So that's
I
why I put
think,
Kobe 24 on top of like the whole basketball world when he passed away. Like the whole basketball world basically shut down. You know what I mean? And then they created uh, a whole all-star game just based off of, you know what I mean, just for him.
mhm.
So like his impact on the game, I feel as though we probably won't see a greater impact on the totality of sports. Like not like I remember what Jordan did for the game of the NBA, but
Mhm.
for what Kobe did for the whole game of basketball. I don't think we'll ever see that again.
Yeah.
Maybe with one player, but we'll see.
Shout out Kobe. Rest in peace, man.
But it's 24, not 8, but it's 24.
Yeah, 8, 24.
Not 8, 24. Because I think 24 was different. You know what I mean? Like you saw the evolution of who he was, and then you saw like what he was trying to do for the game of basketball at 24.
8 won 3 straight, though.
Yeah, he won 3 straight, but he won with Cole, he won with Shaq, and again, not taking nothing away from what he did with them, but the totality of what 24 did for the game for me
I
is
got you.
just different. So
So who else
24,
you got?
I got Jim Brown. I got Jim Brown. It's 32.
Mm.
Um, I just think for what he did for blacks. I know he wasn't the first black football player, but what he did for blacks running backs and just transcended from being a football player and uh, um, transitioning to after football. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
in the sports, I mean, in the movie world and everything like that. And then with everything he did for the black community outside of football is why I put Jim Brown on there. And then I got Warren Moon.
Mm.
And the reason I did Warren Moon is because what he did for, and again, this is probably just a biased one, but what he did for black quarterbacks. I know we still struggling with that, but for him to come out and then they said you got to play this, you got to play wide receiver, and for him to walk away from a dream. I was just reading his quote. He walked away from a dream that he had to play in the NFL, to get drafted in the NFL, because they wanted him to be something other than what he was. And why I picked him is because if he just went to the CFL and sucked, but he went to the CFL, turned down being a wide receiver, went to the CFL, lit it up over there to where the point where the NFL came and asked for him to come back and play that position, and then for him to actually get into the NFL and then shred the NFL.
Right.
I think I wanted to give him his flowers because a lot of people don't talk about him being that in that space as a black quarterback, to walk away from the game, to go do what he did, and then for them to come and ask for him to come. And the reason I wanted to bring it up because it's still happening to black quarterbacks now, because they still don't believe that they can play the position. Warren Moon was the trendsetter for that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely the first number one that I remember.
So that's why I wanted to say Warren Moon, because like they try to do it to Lamar. Lamar, you should play wide receiver. And Lamar said, no, I'm a quarterback, which is why he also didn't do the combine stuff, because they wanted him to know. He wanted them to know that, no, I'm a quarterback.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
but I think Warren Moon was the trendsetter to doing that. A lot of people talk about Doug Williams and everything like that, but Warren Moon was the trendsetter, who was the first actual pure black quarterback to turn away the NFL, do what he did, shred them, and then come back and then prove that he can play. Yeah, I mean that position that people say that he can't play.
Definitely, man. I mean, he's a trailblazer in a sense. I mean, because like you said, coming out in that time, it wasn't too many black quarterbacks that were, you know what I mean, playing. So I mean, there you had the Randall L's of the world. The was it Randall Cobb a quarterback at one point, or am I
Who?
tripping? Randall Cobb.
Oh, Randall. Yeah, Randall Cobb was quarterback in Kentucky.
Okay, so I mean, we have these converted quarterbacks to wide receivers, so it's not like it hasn't happened before. You even had the likes of Logan Thomas that went to tight end. Um,
Greg
but
Ward for the Eagles.
say that again.
Greg Ward for the Eagles.
See, so you had these situations, and definitely Warren Moon, like you said, he took a stand, and it's good that he was able to flourish in the CFL. Um, I mean, because he pretty much bet on himself and he won. So shout out to Warren Moon, man.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I think the importance was that he went and thrived at CFL, won championships, won MVPs. Because if that doesn't happen, it's like I think that, and again, like I said, they're still looking at us like we can't play the position, but he proved that we can do it, and he turned it down. So that's why I got him on there. His number one should be retired. So, the
Wayne
NBA,
Gretzky, 99.
Wayne Gretzky.
But then I thought about like, man, there's 299s right now though, man. Aaron Donald and Warren Sapp that I could think of is like, bruh. I know Wayne Gretzky is like the greatest of all time with hockey, but like I thought about it and I'm like, man, I can't. You take away the greatness of those 99s, then if you put that like, I don't know, but that was a thought, just a thought out there. Shout out to
Yeah,
Wayne.
and listen, I think it's a lot of players who because like you said, AD. Me personally, I think when it's all said and done, AD might be the greatest defensive player of all time. So maybe they retire 99. Yeah, I mean after. And again, I don't think I want to preface this by saying this. I don't think an NFL jersey will ever get retired league wide. I just don't.
It's
I don't
too
think.
many.
Yeah.
It's too many. Like you said, if one would be Jim Brown, but then you got Parental James Simpson, you got Edgerrin James. I know that may be as big, but you got Marcus Allen. You got a lot of number 32s that's gonna be like, hey man, what makes him more greater than me? I mean, Jim Brown is hey man, he's a founding father. Don't
Right.
don't don't knock Jim Brown.
And what I would say is, like you said, I would say what makes Bill Russell, why isn't 23 retired, but 6 is? Because of his
23 is
impact.
hard because you got two big goats right there at 23. I don't know
Yeah, I
who
get
the
it.
other six is.
But I thought about this too. LeBron wears 6.
Nah, nah, he came in as 23. He switched up as the villain when he was 6. So that's not his original number. His original number is 23, and we know him from the Cavs jerseys as 23. On the Lakers, he was 23 at one point, correct? So
But he
he
can't.
wasn't he wasn't 6 on the Cavaliers. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But listen, if anything that should be retired, I think 6 was perfect because 20. I just as good as Jordan was. Jordan is a goat. You can't retire 23.
yeah,
You just can't do it. Even though people are trying to do it, I just don't know if you can.
LeBron and LeBron. I mean,
Yeah, like you said, two
if, you,
goats.
if you're gonna retire, it's got to be because of those two, not just one individual.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree with that. That's it. You got any other Jones you want to see retired?
Uh, no, that was just.
Okay.
I mean, we spoke on Jordan, Thomas, Hank Aaron, Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, that was my thought.
So the NBA, I think beginning of this week they came out with their projections um, of both Eastern and Western Conference and where they think the teams will finish this year, and some interesting stuff in there, which is why I wanted to talk about it. So
Okay,
in the
yeah,
East,
please enlighten me because I was trying to find what you had and I couldn't
yeah,
find it.
yeah, yeah. Listen. I had to dig deep. I had to dig deep trying to find this joint. So in the East, they had Boston finishing first at 54-28.
Okay,
They had Milwaukee finishing second at 54-28. So I guess it's a tiebreaker in there. They had the Heat finishing third at 51-31.
six.
Um, Sixers 50-32. So
Okay,
as soon as I'm done talking to you about this, I'm gonna talk to you about these stuff. These standing. They had Toronto at fifth at 57-35. Hawks 46-36. Cleveland 46-37. 45-37. Um, the Bulls at 44-38. The Nets at 40-42. And the Knicks at 439 and 40-43.
why did disrespect Kevin Durant like that?
So of course,
Is it
again, like you
is
said,
it Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving still on their team?
Ben Simmons,
Ben Simmons as well. Yes, they
like
they
Joe Harris, Seth Curry.
yeah, yeah okay, okay. So whose projection is this?
This is ESPN's predictions, and they did a poll of analysts. I think it was
Yes.
like a poll of 10 analysts or 50 analysts who sat and talked about it, and these were the projections.
Um, I think the top can be interchangeable. The top four. Um, I think that's to me that's probably the only real solid thing that you could say about the East. It's like the top four teams is what it is. It's just a matter of where they're going to be at,
Like where you gonna put them
and
at?
then if the rest is really up in the air, in my opinion, depending on who has a run, who has good chemistry. Because I mean, like the Nets, yes, KD, like we just said, but it's a lot of unknown variables. And, with that drama and the media circus every day that's going to come along with that or whatnot, it can be a distraction. Talent wise, I still think they are in the top in the East. But I mean, they want the coach out. Kevin's like, I want, or allegedly, Kevin's like, it's either me or Steve Nash and the GM. Uh, Kyrie is like, yo, I'm not trying to play back to backs. Like, it's just a lot going on in Brooklyn to where like in in Milwaukee, you haven't heard much. In Boston, they had nice free agent pickups. Um, and for the most part, like the top four has been. I mean, James Harden took less money, so we can try to get some pieces around or whatever the case may be in Philly. So, I mean, I think that top four, I think, like I said, is interchangeable. Wouldn't be surprised if Philly is one and Milwaukee is four. I wouldn't be surprised if um, Milwaukee is one and Boston is four. Like I won't be surprised either way. I would just be surprised if any one of those four teams are not in the top four at the end of the season.
I think the one team that in the top four that stands out to me, where I'd be shocked if they are number one, is Miami. I was shocked if they
Wait,
was number
I
one
thought
this
they
year.
had Miami at five. They had them at four.
They got Miami. Yeah, they got Miami at 3.
Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. Boston one, Milwaukee two.
Miami 3, Sixers 4.
Who was five?
Toronto.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
So I
okay,
would be
yeah.
shocked. Like I think whoever's at 4 can be interchangeable, but I think the top 3 for me, they're interchangeable as well. But I don't like Miami lost pieces. They lost players. As good as Jimmy is, Jimmy turns it on in the playoffs. So we know what he does in the playoffs. Um, Kyle Lowry, he's older.
Mm-hmm.
Can Tyler Hero repeat his season, the season that he had? Is Bam a number one option? Like, I just think it's a lot about Miami's culture, which is why a lot of people project them. Um, but those top 3 Sixers, Milwaukee, Boston, I actually think legit got better this season. And I
Yeah,
think Milwaukee will be better because one, they probably got the best player on the planet. You know what I mean? And then they're getting Chris Middleton back. So I think that would help them. I think if James Harden comes back and they play an actual full season together, Tyrese Maxey's getting better. But then they added PJ, they added DeAnthony. I'm saying they, like, that's not my team. We added a lot of players. You know what I mean? So I can legit see us being at the number one, and then Boston, they just went to the finals and they added Malcolm Brogdon
right.
and Danilo Gallinari. So I can see them 3 being interchangeable at the top 3. The ones that are interesting to me again is they're super high on Toronto. They got them at 5, and I think they finished. I think they finished 6 this year, 5 or 6. Who was 4th? So they finished 5th. Um, they finished 5th. Uh, I really don't see Toronto being like that unless Scotty Barnes takes another leap. I think they got a good, solid core of players, but I think when you start looking at other teams' rosters, if they stay healthy, like the Hawks, like they got the Hawks at 6. I can see the Hawks actually being a top 4 team based off of the pieces that they added, based off of a full healthy season, based on, like, if you look at their roster, that's a top 4 roster.
It's solid.
It's a top 4 roster. Yeah, I mean, and then we account for the development of other players.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them. Um, I think they're disrespecting Cleveland, having Cleveland at 7. You know what I
Uh,
mean? But the people the additions that they added and them actually having a full season together, I think they'll be straight. Um, but the one we really need to get to, well, 3 teams we really need to get to. They disrespecting Chicago, like
yeah, yeah, they did.
Chicago at 8,
Wow.
and they was a 51 team last year, 40
Right.
something team last year, and they was just injured, so they're gonna
They
get a
said
lot
it
of
was a
people
fluke.
back.
They said it was a fluke. That's what it seemed like. They called it a fluke.
So that I think they disrespecting Chicago, and like you said, going back to the Nets, I think I'll say this because Kyrie's gonna be there.
Mhm.
Let's just say you, even if they take Kevin Durant off the team, what they'll get back for Kevin Durant is going to be enough for them to compete to me in a top five spot because they'll have Ben Simmons, they'll have Kyrie.
They said the
I get
drama.
it. I get the drama, but listen, I'm gonna say this. Even with the drama, if Kevin Durant shows up
Yeah,
and he plays, because
and
if he shows up, he's gonna play, and if he plays, he's a top 5 player in the NBA.
I love these analysts, man. They give Kevin Durant bulletin board material, man. I mean, you telling me that we call this man arguably the best player in the world, and then you got his team that's not even making the playoffs
As a play-in.
as a play-in,
When he was
right?
when he was in the play-in last year, and it was drama surrounded them last year.
And
They had the
Kyrie
number
played,
one,
didn't he play half the season?
right? Him, James, and Kyrie didn't play all didn't play together. I think Kevin Durant had like 54 games, James had 44, and Kyrie had like 23, and they still finished 44 and 38, I think, last year. And just listen, just Kevin Durant by himself playing by himself in the beginning of the season before he got injured, they was the number 1 seed in the East. When he got injured, they was the number 1 seed in the East. So I don't get this whole fall from grace thing because there's so much drama surrounding this team. They still know how to play basketball.
It's just
And
a lot of variables though. It's a lot of question marks. Like I
I think it's one
talent
question mark.
wise, huh?
I think it's only one question mark.
I mean, what about Ben Simmons?
He gonna play. He can't
I mean,
afford.
he's been having back issues. The jumper has been talked about. The mental health has been questioned. It's a lot of questions on him. Then you got Kyrie. Is he gonna play? Is he not gonna play? Is it like? Are you taking a stand? What are you doing? Like, are you trying to limit the games that you play, or is
Well,
this like what? It's just
allegedly, allegedly, he all in. He all
okay.
in with him. He wants to be there.
Hmm.
Again, he's from Jersey, so that's probably where he wants to play. Um, so again, there was a lot of drama with them last year, right? Is Kyrie going to play? What kind of games? Like, is basketball his number 1 priority? Is he taking a stand? All that was there last year.
Hmm.
But when he played, he
Yeah.
was a top,
Right time.
he was a top 10
Short
player.
time.
So I think again, I think when you're trying to add all of, you can't. I don't think you can put the off-field stuff and the on-field stuff together when we talk about the Nets, because I think one of the things, except with Ben Simmons, but one of the things with them, their 2 players, they love to play basketball.
They had to. They had to put that in. I mean, like, cause Kyrie and Kevin Durant alone. But
But
then
they
to
love
have
to
them
play
as, like you
basketball.
said, in the playing game, are we really?
Yeah, they got them in the play-in. And
So
again,
that has to play a part, man.
no, yeah, I agree. It has to, but I'm just thinking like, this is why we always question the media and the analysts and all this stuff because I'm like, do y'all watch the games or do because again they had all this stuff, all this off-field stuff they had it last year. James Harden and Kyrie was supposedly be beefing.
Yeah.
They was allegedly beefing. Like they had all these same things last year. They went 44-38, better record than they got them this year. They got them at a losing record this year, and and they still got Kevin Durant. Like, so I think that's interesting. And I think the other one that's interesting to me is the Knicks, where they went out and made this splash and got not Malcolm Brogdon, Jalen Brunson, and they still don't think it moves the needle.
I don't think so either.
Me either.
I don't think we do at all. I ain't gonna say they got it right, but I don't think that moves the needle one bit. I think it makes them more competitive, but it doesn't push them over no edge. I don't even think they're close to the
Edge, they got 30. They ain't even got them in the winning record. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you, and I know this is all. Even if they get Donovan Mitchell, I don't think they're top
edge.
18.
They need a lot.
Huh?
They need a lot. They need more cohesiveness.
Yeah.
They, I mean, because like the team that they had was it not last year, but the year before when they went to the playoffs. Like they had a roster full of solid guys,
And they had identity.
and they played off of the energy of Julius Randle and whatnot. And like when New York is lit, when the Garden is lit, bro, it's hard to play in there as an away team. And
Yeah.
when you got a team that's going on a winning streak and whatnot, and you got the media behind you and whatnot, like they need something like that to build on, and then to try to bring somebody in, not to where it just seems like it's like not plateaued, but pretty much like it's coasting. Like it's not. It doesn't seem like it's ascending right now. And like you said, the biggest move is Jalen Brunson. No diss to Jalen Brunson, you know what I mean? Because he's an outstanding basketball player. But is he
Like,
the guy that's going to lead you to a championship?
no. Is he a guy gonna lead you to the playoffs? Like, signing Jalen Brunson, does he become their best player? Does he become their second best player? I don't think so. I don't think he's their first or second best player.
They
And
just gave
y'all,
it up.
yeah, they gave him a bag. And y'all brought him in, like you said, like that was y'all big off-season acquisition. I mean, shout out to Jalen Brunson, he got his bag, but I just they got a bunch of to me they got a bunch of really good role players, and they have no
Stand
guy,
out guy.
right? No guy. Can RJ be that? I don't know. The reason I wanted to bring that up because again it's New York, um, and to me you see what the media think of New York. You know what I mean, and that's the media capital of the world. You know what I mean, so that was interesting for them to be set. But let's get to this West. Um, lot of interest in the West. A lot of intrigue in the West. Starting with the Suns, 56-26, with the number one seed in the West. I think that's super intriguing to me
Say that
because
again?
the Suns, 56-26,
Mm-hmm. You don't
the number
believe in
one.
it?
No, I saw what Luka did to them last year. I saw what Luka did to them,
But part of that
and
was
they,
Jalen Brunson, though.
yeah, but still, like,
Nah, Luka destroyed.
and they had the greatest clutch season ever last year for them to win 64 games. And you don't think that other people going and Chris Paul is going to get older. Chris Paul is older.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, even though um, they paid DeAndre Ayton, they still don't believe in him.
They got to believe in him. They just gave him the money.
They gave him the money because Indiana gave him the money. And if you didn't give him the money, you was going to lose him for nothing.
But they got him. So they got the gang back together.
They got the gang back together, but they don't believe in him because if they would have believed in him, then they would have paid him when Trey and Luka got paid. If they believed in him, they wouldn't have benched my man for the whole second half of that game that they was getting smashed by.
Why we bringing up old stuff?
I'm just saying, like, the best way to predict the future is to go off the past. Like, I gotta go off of what I don't. What did the Suns do this offseason that was impressive to me? That makes them the number. Huh?
They re-signed DeAndre Ayton.
They had
That
him
was
last
the
year.
best move that they did this offseason.
Listen, last time we saw Chris Paul and Devin Booker, they was trash.
That was a mistake. That was a bad night. That was really the off night, and that was the worst time you could have an off night.
Yeah.
And I I don't see them at one. I do see them in the top. I don't see them at one.
Yeah. Listen, I don't see them duplicating or repeating the success they had for the past 2 seasons. I just don't. One, because they're getting older.
Mm-hmm.
I know people hate me. I talk about this with my man Lamar all the time. I don't know if Devin Booker is a number one. I don't know. Ball in the hand. Devin Booker clearing everything out. I don't know if Devin Booker can take over a game as far as putting the team on his back. Before Chris Paul got there, what was they doing? They was in a lottery every year.
He's had 60-point games, right?
He's had 60-point games, yes. I think he had the 73-point game.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm glad you said that because I was thinking that, but you said it. And he can't carry a team on his back.
When he was putting up that 73, his team was in a lottery.
No. He scored 73 in a professional basketball game.
And his team was in a lottery.
He scored 73 points in a professional basketball game.
He's
And
a good scorer. He's a good scorer. Listen.
He led his team to okay. Who was the number one when they were in the NBA Finals?
I think.
Wow. He said.
No. It was Devin Booker. Devin Booker was the number one scoring option. But I also think Chris Paul is the orchestrator of that team.
Okay, but we're talking about number one who led his team to the NBA Finals. That's Devin Booker.
Listen. We can go back to that NBA Finals, man. There's a lot of stuff that happened. Stuff had to happen.
Hey, I know we've said that before, but we've also said that everybody that's been to the finals can understand and know that there's things that happen.
I agree.
From the time you start the playoffs until the time it ends, that it's like some old snap. If that didn't happen, maybe we may not have been here.
I agree with that. So I do got a question for you then, since we're talking about Devin Booker now.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul's not there. Are Devin Booker and them? Are we talking about them in the same light that we're talking about them now?
No.
I'm just saying I have to see it with Devin Booker because I think we all would agree. I think Chris Paul is probably the greatest leader or one of the greatest leaders we've seen in all of sports, but in basketball in general, he's probably one of the greatest leaders we've ever seen.
Okay, and I wouldn't disagree to that. However, think about it like this. All championship teams in basketball has had a number one and a number two. And there's times to where you can't distinctly know who's number one and who's number two. because Jordan did lead. I mean, Pippen did lead the Bulls to 55 wins when Jordan was gone. So let's not think that Pippen was slighted. You know what I mean? When we're talking about ones and twos. But ultimately, like, yeah, Chris Paul is a major, major reason as to why the Suns are very successful. And before Chris Paul got there, yes, they were not good. And they had a guy who was a great, outstanding scorer, but did not have too much other talent around him.
And the only thing they did was add Chris Paul.
That's They did not just add Chris Paul. They had Mikal Bridges. They
But
had
I'm
Cam
saying,
Johnson.
but they already had those players when Devin
They
Booker
had
was
already
there.
had Cam. They drafted him.
I'm
This
saying
is fifth week of fifth
Chris
and
Paul been
Mikal
there.
Bridges.
Chris Paul been there 2 seasons. They went to the finals one year.
No,
They went.
this is going on fourth season. They went to the finals one year, and then
They went. It was the bubble year.
was he there the bubble year?
Nope. He got. They got. He was with OKC, which is why
Okay,
I think.
okay, okay,
Which is
okay,
why I
okay.
think it's Chris Paul, because bubble year OKC 50 games. He took them to the playoffs. He left. They've been struggling ever since. He went to Phoenix, took them to the finals, then went to Phoenix this year. I mean, come this year, they in the Western Conference Finals, and they get smacked when most people projected them to possibly win the final. And I think part of that is I don't know if Devin Booker. I'm just saying, just for me. I know other people don't feel that way, but I don't know if Devin Booker is a guy. One, I don't know if Devin Booker can get his own shot, but I know people gonna say he got 73 in the game. Like, what you mean he can't get his own shot? I don't know. I just say I don't. For me, I don't know with Devin Booker. I have to see him be the number one guy on a winning franchise. And again, maybe he is the number one guy, but it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure off of his shoulders with Chris Paul being there.
No, most definitely, and I would agree to that. I would definitely agree to that. I mean, Chris Paul brings a lot to the table, and I mean, nobody could question the IQ, the leadership, the ability to understand different situational basketball and all of that that Chris Paul brings to the table. And I'm pretty sure that that's rubbed off on the entire team. I still don't think that that slates or diminishes the value that Devin Booker brings to this team and him being the number one scorer, the all star, the young gun,
The
and
All
Chris
NBA player.
Paul.
He was the first team All NBA off that team
You
last year. He was
Devin
there first.
Booker.
Devin Booker, first team All NBA last
So
year.
I mean, like, I totally get what you're saying, and I mean the only way that he can prove you wrong is to win a chip, whether
Yeah,
it be
well,
with Chris
well,
Paul or without him.
well, I'm just saying this is to see him because Chris Paul 38. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see shortly because it's gonna be his team, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna be his team, and I think, and again, the reason we're talking about is getting back to this. I don't want to stay all day talking about the Suns, but I think again, I gotta see it because the way Luka, he came up small
hmm
against that team. Yeah, I mean they came up small against that team, and maybe that's Monty's fault. You know what I mean, but they
I think
came
it
up
was just a
small.
bad night. It was just a bad night.
I think. Listen, I think Devin Booker was feeling himself. He started talking trash to Luka. Luka said, "All right."
I just think it was the wrong place, wrong time, man. I really do on that one, man, because nobody's seen that coming, bro. Like they
He
got
started
ugly
talking. He
fast.
started talking that. He started talking tough to Luka. Luka said, "Okay." Luka different, and that's when I say like I don't know if Dev, and I guess because I'm comparing him to certain people in the NBA, because I think he's a great player, but I think there's another gear that in order for him to reach us, for us to start talking about him being that guy
hmm
in the Luca classes and and the JT classes, he got to take it to another level, in my opinion. So, they got Golden State at 2, which honestly don't really matter where they finish. I mean, but I ain't mad at it. The Nuggets at 3, 53 and 29.
They're always a good regular season team.
Who, the Nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I can possibly see seeing them having the number 1 seed in the West.
It's just a
Michael
matter of
Porter.
when they make it to the finals. That's it. Like
Yeah.
they could end up 1 through 4. It don't even matter, man. Just what you going to do in the playoffs, bro.
Yeah. Like y'all got the talent. You got a lot of talent. It's time to start.
Win
I'm
a
put.
second round series.
I'm gonna start putting them in the in that Suns category.
Yeah, yeah.
You got all the talent in the world. You got an MVP count. You got an MVP player. I mean, 2 All-Star caliber players.
But see, this kind of reminds me um of how like okay, the Warriors in the West are kind of like how the Bulls were in the East, to where you had all of these good teams, these really good teams that had like Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning when he was on Charlotte and Miami those
Yeah.
years, and you had these really good teams that like just could never make it past whatever round it is, or they'll end up running up against the Bulls. Pacers, that's another team with Reggie Miller. That's what the West is seeming like right now. Like they had their shot when Clay and Steph was hurt, but now they got the band back together. It's like really like that's what it really feels like to me. Like we're talking about the Nuggets, like the Knicks of that time. Like the Knicks was a very competitive team that just could never get past the second round. And they made it in 1 year, but that was Jordan had left. They
Yep. The
made it
lockout year.
8 seed.
Lockout year. But I agree with you on that because, like you said, until somebody actually knock a healthy Warriors team off, they're gonna always be the favorite.
Yeah.
Like the last time the only times that they lose in the past 8 years is when they're not healthy. When they're fully healthy, they win the championship.
And they did it without KD. So it's
And
it's, it's like
he might be back. That's
you
nothing.
said he might be back.
He might be back.
Let's not bring that up, man. Let's leave that man in Brooklyn where he's at right now. Let's not even get on that if he leaves.
Gotcha. But listen, they don't need him. But, bruh, they loaded, man. When we talking about the young guns that they got, Kaminga, Looney, Wiseman, Moody, JP. Now they might lose JP, but as right now he on the team. They just loaded, and they're gonna retool. So I ain't got no problem with them. Like you said with the Nuggets, they're gonna be straight. The team I think they got at 4, the Grizzlies. I don't know if I'm gonna put them that high. I don't know. I just don't know if
that
they.
high. They was the number 2 seed last year.
Yeah, number 2 seed. They were solid, but they lost pieces. They lost Slow Mo. They lost the Anthony Milton. Like Ja is a monster, but he dealing with knee injuries. Who's their second guy? Is it Jaren Jackson? He injured all the time. Desmond Bain. I just don't know who's that other guy for them outside of Ja. They have a team.
I would definitely agree with that. I think 4 is right for them because of the pieces that they lost. I really think that they played well last year. They played above what people I think of course thought because nobody seen them as a 2 seed. However, I really think that they thought that this team would be coming together like this year It's just a matter of them losing the pieces. But I think 4 is good.
You're gonna rethink that when I name the rest of these teams.
Okay, go ahead.
The Clippers at 5, the Grizzlies over the Clippers, a healthy Clippers team.
Listen, a healthy Clippers team is a what if, and a big what if. So it's to me, it goes back to how they graded the Nets,
Okay,
the drama and whatnot. The Clippers is a big what if
well
because
listen,
the talent is there. Talent is there for them to be in the top two. To be quite honest,
I agree.
on paper, but
But if we're talking about a big what if, how did they go from being out the playoffs to now being at fifth? So like now
there's
that to
not to
me
count
is
in like now they have more people that if Kawhi's in it and injured, now you have PG and John Wall. John Wall's injured, you got PG Kawhi. You got more star power that if one can go down, you still got two. If two go down, that's still a lot, but you still got one. I mean, Reggie Jackson
yeah,
held a
Bell
lot of
serve helped
people
himself.
to the fire. You know what I mean? Him
Yep.
leading the team himself. So
Norman Powell there. Yeah, I mean Reggie. Uh, can't even think of his name now. It's an old Sixers player. Can't even think of his name. Came from Portland. Anyway, Robert Covington. That's his name. Got Robert
yeah, yeah,
Covington.
yeah, yeah.
Then they got the Mavs at 6. I don't get how you can put the
I
Mavs
know
at
you
6.
don't like that. I know you don't like that. I
I
know you
don't
don't
get
like
how you
that,
can
but they
put
didn't
them
do
there.
nothing roster wise.
They did. They got they. I mean, now they did lose Jalen Brunson, but they brought in. They brought in Christian Woods, who I think is going to be great for them.
That's decent, but that's nothing like you just came back from the Western Conference Finals and that's what you did.
They went for the Western Conference Finals with that team. Like
Yeah,
the team
but
that they had.
that come on now. Let's keep it a beat, right? If they go to Game 7, right? Who would have really thought that they would have had that type of shooting night?
Nobody, no. Listen,
Everybody. So that was to me like one of those like seize the moment type moments. It is what it is. So just off Luca alone, we was like, okay, we can see them winning one series, but not two. So I think they really overachieved last year.
I agree
And
with that. But
and Luca
that's how I feel
needs
about the
more
Grizzlies as
rest,
well,
yo.
though.
Huh?
That's how I feel about the Grizzlies.
And I think the Grizzlies overachieved, but I think they overachieved more so in the in the regular season to put them in a position to where they could compete in the playoffs. Because they were number 2 seed, they had home court advantage for the first series and the second series. It's just that they ran into the Warriors, who we all knew was talent wise was the best team that's been here before. But
I thought the Grizzlies should have lost to the Timberwolves.
hey, but they had home court advantage. They had a lot going on with their side. I mean, they were young, like you said, they overachieved the whole entire season.
I agree.
So I definitely understand that. I just think that the Mavericks, I think that they played to expectations last year and overachieved in the playoffs.
Okay, I can see that. But I also would say they got Tim Hardaway Jr. coming back this year, and
Okay,
they added Christian Woods, who I think is going to be great. Like I think he averaged 17 and 10 last year, 18 and 10 last year
okay.
on the Rockets. Luca going either. I would be surprised if he is not an All Star next this year with Luca.
Oh, Christian Wood.
Christian Woods. I'd be surprised if he's not an All Star this year.
Mm,
So, um, but I think again, I think 5. I actually think 5 is where I would actually put the Mavs. You know what I mean? 5, 4, 5. Because these other teams that they got, I'm high on the next two. You know what I mean? The Timberwolves, they got them at, and again, the records between these four, they aren't
like yeah,
they like right there. It's like always in the West. Like they like one game, 1 or 2 games, yeah, I mean away. So I really just looking at the records as opposed to like the seedings.
Hmm.
But they got the Timberwolves at 49-33, just like they got the Mavs at 49-33, and they had the Clippers at 50-32, and the Grizzlies at 51-31. But I think with the Timberwolves, I know y'all not really don't really like what they did, but I think the Timberwolves, it like it's gonna be different. We still gonna have to see what Rudy does. If Kenny play when they go in those small lineups. But a lot of teams can't go to those small lineups. If we being real, a lot of teams in the West they ain't gonna be able to go to small lineups.
I don't see it working out in Minnesota, yo.
And it's also we talking about smaller lineups in the playoffs, not the regular season and the seeding. Because I still got the Timberwolves losing in the second round. But it's for a regular season game, you can't just go to small lineups. Maybe
And
throughout the series, but you ain't just gonna come in and say, you know what, hey center, you're not playing today because we playing against Carly Townsend and Rudy Gobert. Like I don't see teams doing that, which is why I think those two pairing is going to be unique. They're going to be big, so I think they're going to win a lot of regular season games.
I definitely think it's going to be intriguing, man. And it's something that is, you know how, and I'm not comparing, like I'm just saying the effect of when you're riding and the traffic slows down, and then you see that's an accident. So you look because you want to see what everybody else is looking at, but then you like, okay, let me get out of this, and that's how to me is the Timberwolves. Like the rest of the league, I'm excited to see. I'm intrigued to see what is this whole reason as to why they traded for Ruby, and what vision did they have for Anthony? Is it Anthony Edwards?
Edwards, Anthony Edwards.
Yes, I'm okay. It was when I heard Anthony, I was like, "Is it Carl?" I know Carl Anthony, but okay, Anthony Edwards, Carl Anthony Towns. How all that's going to work with Ruby, with him, in my opinion, being an offensive liability. How is that going to mesh going in? Like that I guess that frees Cat up as far as defensively, um, which can make him, I guess, more opportunities on the offense. I don't know. It's intriguing, but I'm definitely gonna rubberneck the thing calls to see what's going on in Minnesota. But I don't see it working.
They also off, and I don't know if you're gonna start now, but they brought in slow mo Kyle Anderson from the Grizzlies. But I
He
think the
really does
key,
play slow motion.
huh?
He's effective, man.
He is, bro. Listen, you can't speed that brother up for nothing.
No, you really can't. I've seen him
Nothing.
dunk on somebody in slow motion.
Facts. Euro step, everything. Everything he does is in slow mo, bro. But he's super effective with this stuff.
Mhm.
Shoot threes, everything slow motion. But I think the key to their team is going to be the Anthony. The freak is his name?
Anthony.
D'Angelo Russell.
Oh,
D'Angelo Russell.
oh, okay. Yeah.
He's going to be key to their team because if he can put it all together
Hmm.
and bring everything together, I think they're going to be solid because he's going to be the point guard. That pick and roll um, with him and Rudy, or him and Carl. That's going to be. I think that's going to be nasty. Um, but I think also I'll say two people will be the key. If Anthony Edwards takes another leap,
Yeah. Yeah.
like then we're talking about like dang, like that team can make some noise. So I agree with that. But the other one, the AFC Pelicans, I'm real high. I'm mad. I'm madder at them being 43-39 than my Sixers not being a 4 seed in the East. The Pelicans at 43-39. Like, were they not watching what I watched in the first round this year?
Yeah, but there's still a lot going on in the West, though, man. Ahead of them,
43-39.
it's a lot going on in the West?
Man, I like their roster better than like 4 or 5 teams, 4 or 5 teams
Clippers?
ahead of them.
Clippers?
No, I
Like
don't.
the
I think the
like
Clippers. I think the
the
Clippers probably got the best roster in all NBA.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well I can't.
but
Nuggets?
do I like their roster over the Nuggets? Um, the total roster,
Yeah, total roster.
yes. The total roster, yes. Because I think the Nuggets are top heavy, but the total
Okay.
roster, I like their total roster over the Nuggets roster.
Okay. Okay.
Um, shoot, I like their total roster over the Suns roster. They almost smacked the Suns last year. Man, we saw this coming from the Suns last year in round one. But when we talk about Bi, who I think could be this year, could vault himself into maybe a top 4 small forward conversation. We're talking about the leadership of CJ McCullough,
Mm-hmm.
and we're talking about if a healthy Zion comes back, and I know that's a big if, but if Zion come back and he's the Zion that he was before, that's more than a 43-win team.
Yeah.
On top of like the Jonas Valanciunas that they got, and they got a defensive stopper in Herb Jones, and they got Zaire Williams. Like they got a legit solid roster. So I mean the AFC again because the West is tough. I just don't like the record at 43-39. But the
Right.
AFC, like I said, I mean that's the from 4 to 8. Yeah, I mean it could be interchangeable. Now here where it get interesting. We got the Lakers at 9 at 42-40.
Oh man.
So we're talking about KD and LeBron both possibly not making the playoffs and playing games.
Hmm. I mean, if it looks similar to this year,
And then
I mean,
and then
we said it before that LeBron can't carry a team at this age.
I agree.
And it's got to be Anthony Davis' team in order for this team to succeed.
I
Can't be
agree.
nobody else's team but Anthony Davis.
So I definitely agree with that. So maybe that's again we're talking about that they're probably factoring all this stuff in. But it's the Lakers and LeBron on that team.
LeBron was on that team too last year, and they was second in the league in scoring, and they still was home watching the playoffs.
So again, but it's the Lakers. Like, and again, I don't disagree with their projection. It's just when you see a LeBron led team at 9 and possibly being, it's
Just
like
don't sit right well. Sit well with you.
it's like LeBron on that team. Like, but all
Yes.
LeBron haters and listen, I used to subscribe to that. Yeah, I mean, but I've grown to love greatness. Yeah, I mean, but all LeBron haters like that's where he should be. And you know, all the LeBron, all the LeBron lovers, they going crazy right now.
Hey, LeBron in the playoffs makes for interesting television. So
I agree.
I would like to see them make the playoffs. I
I,
would definitely like to see them. I'm not saying that they will. I'm saying that I would like to see them, whether it's seventh, eighth seed.
listen, my bipolarness almost came out just now. I was gonna say, man, I don't care if LeBron make no. I don't want to see him in the playoffs. But
But
again,
no, I'd like to see LeBron
that was
back.
some old hating residue. So old hate residue. Because I do agree that just the Lakers in general,
Yes.
Lakers and the Knicks in general in the playoffs. Like the Knicks ain't relevant, but they still play on Christmas Day. Like the Lakers ain't relevant, but they still play on Christmas Day. Because those
Martin
two
Luther King Day.
right and Boston, like no matter what, these are the pillars of some of the pillars of basketball.
Mhm.
And when they're good, it makes the NBA great. It makes the NBA good to watch, and it makes for villains. But people like me who don't like certain like some of them teams, I like when they down. I don't care. I don't care if they ever up again. It's like the Cowboys. I don't care if the Cowboys ever up. Even though when they good, they make the NFL good. I don't care if the Cowboys ever up. I don't care if the Patriots up either. Like I don't care if they ever up either.
The Patriots just started. Like the Patriots ain't got a history of this. Like Tom Brady started the history.
Hey,
Like
listen,
before that, they were remembered for losing to the Bears in the Super Bowl by like a lot of points.
bruh. Tom Brady has made up enough for their lack of sucking. Like
Definitely has. I think
he made up enough for them to be
they had
hated
the
for the
most,
next
right?
30 years.
They have the most, right?
They got the most rings. Well, I think they're tied with the Steelers.
Okay.
Yeah, they tied. The Steelers got six
But
and they got
Tom
six.
got all of
Tom got seven. Like he made up enough, man. He made up enough for them to be hated for the next 30 years. He made up enough for them to be hated like the Cowboys.
He got as many rings as the rooms. All right, let's go.
And then they got Portland at 10, but nobody cares. Nobody expect Portland to do anything.
Poor
But anyway,
thing, bro.
all right. So let's turn the page. Literally, I'm turning the page right now to NFL. A lot of preseason started last week, but it really kick off this week. Um, a lot of interesting stuff over the weekend. A lot of things that I was impressed with. Um, I'm gonna start with a couple of things. I'm gonna start and get up your alley. Trey Lance, man. Trey Lance, bro. I've been high on Trey.
Yeah, you
I've
have.
been high on Trey, but I'm glad. And I know it's one season. I mean, one game. But I'm glad that people saw him play and people saw his talent on display. Because I think when you're getting spotted in, like you're not really ready. Like,
Hmm.
but for him to come in the season as the guy, and then there was a lot of um, reports out there that they don't know if like he's inconsistent or if he can be the guy. Then you got reports where people like, man, they love him, but then when you can actually see him and you see the talent, and you see what he put on the field, Trey Lance, bro, the Trey Lance era has started.
I listen. I watched that first series with intrigue, and we didn't disappoint. We didn't disappoint whatsoever.
So
So
I also like y'all got. I like the speed y'all got on defense on offense this year too. So listen, I like that. I like y'all. I like what y'all doing. Um, Eagles first team offense and defense. Not just because I'm an Eagles fan, but numbers speak for itself. Yeah, I mean they scored I think 10 when or 14 when both teams was out there, offense and defense. Um, Defense had a pick, created pressure. Jalen Hurts was 6 for 6, 80 yards in the tug. They
yeah,
impressed.
yeah. I got in my notes. Eagles ones on offense look good. Um, and that wasn't everybody. So
Yep.
yeah, it looking. If it looked like I look like them, I mean, just the only thing that just bothers me about the Eagles is like they could be the first series they can go like this, and then the rest of the game is like, what happened? Like, and not saying they won't score anything, but it's just the fact of like, bro, you just went 6 for 6. You know what I mean on this
Yeah, you,
drive,
you
and then
finished
you
12
end
for
up
38.
19 for 33. Like, how? Like, what happened the rest of the game?
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. So, like I said, it's a one preseason game, but again, just talking about what happened over the season, this regular season. I mean, this weekend,
Mhm.
I was impressed by that by both sides of the ball. Malik Willis looked good for me. Um,
You
you can
look
see
good
the
for
athletics. You can see
So
his
about people
athleticism.
with
Listen, hey, listen. When you got talent, when you got an eye for talent. I mean, we got eyes, man. Everybody got eyes. When you see his arm talent, you see his athleticism. Like I wouldn't be surprised, but I would be because I don't think Mike Vrabel like him. But
right?
but anybody with eyes can see he's probably gonna be better for this team than Ryan Tannehill. He
Yeah,
just is.
yeah. I put in there Malik Willis will succeed in the league once he gets adjusted. Um, I think that of course everybody has said, especially at the quarterback position, that there's a speed differential. And with him playing at Liberty, there's definitely an upgrade of speed. Not to discount Liberty, but I mean, they're not playing the likes of LSU, Alabama, Georgia on a weekly basis, or even on every other week. You know what I mean? So I know it's going to be different from him for him, but I think once he gets adjusted, he's going to be special. I really think it's going to be hard for Ryan Tannehill to keep his job.
I agree with that. I put Drew Lock and Kenny Pickett duel. I think I think that was impressive to me too.
Hmm.
Um, I think Seattle, that was the big question mark. I think we talked about last week on who was going to be their quarterback. I think Drew Lock impressed me. Yeah, I mean, with some of the throws that he had, I know he had a big turnover. I mean, strip sack, but it really wasn't his fault. But I think he had really control of the offense, command of the offense. And if he can play with the ones like that, I think he can be solid. But we'll see.
I think that with Drew Lock, I think that he's played with ones before. So this to me isn't something that necessarily surprises me because it's against the twos and the threes and the guys just trying to make the team. Um, I need to see this on a Sunday, not on a Saturday preseason game. Like you were picked in the he was picked in what, the second round, correct?
Second round, yep.
So you were highly touted in the likes of Jalen Hurts was picked in the second round as well. So they seen you as that when they picked you at that, and now you're fighting for a starting spot on another team, which to me says a lot. Especially when you're talking about fighting for a starting spot against a guy who, I mean, you would say
He was
that he
also highly
passed his
talented too
prime,
though.
huh?
He was also highly talented too though.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, he did pretty okay with the Jets for a little bit, and then he failed off. Whereas Drew Lock hasn't really taken off. He's had different sparks and moments. I think the biggest takeaway for me from that game was Kenny Pickett and the fact that he's coming in as a rookie. Um, and yes, there's twos and threes, but he's still a rookie. And I mean, to me, Mitchell Trubisky, I don't think that they might go with him now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Pickett would do like a Russell Wilson type deal to where he wins them over. Not only just being a fan favorite, but just off of his actual talent. I mean, for him to be in his first preseason game, first NFL action, and only miss two passes, whether I know it's only for 95 yards, but that still says a lot. Being as though you were in the game, uh, he threw a touchdown pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, two of them.
So, I mean, hey, man,
Yeah, Kenny looked good. Now listen,
they
I
picked
was
him in the first round. So, like, come on, man.
yeah, Kenny looked good. I was clowning with my boy yesterday. Like, man, Kenny looked like a bum. As soon as I said because he was dinging and dunking, and as soon as I said that he gonna lead them on that game-winning touchdown drive. Yeah, I mean, like you see, like for me, I always say like he looked Kevin Kirk Cousins ish to me.
Mhm.
Just the way his demeanor and everything like that. But Listen, we said it last week. We got Kirk Cousins in our top 14, top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. So
Speaking of that, I don't know if we should have had Matt Ryan on there. I didn't.
different.
They didn't. They looked the same. I know they were missing Jonathan Taylor, but they looked the same. It didn't look like they improved at the quarterback position, and that was hard for me to really. I mean, granted, it's the first preseason game. You know what I mean? But I mean, Carson Wentz looked solid the same way that Matt Ryan looked solid. Like it didn't look like any upgrade.
I agree. I guess, like you said, I guess that we'll see the difference maybe in regular season. But like you said, like, and I think maybe it's the decision making that
Yes.
Matt Ryan won't do some of the boneheaded stuff that Carson Wentz do
Mhm.
in crazy situations. So maybe that's why they got him. But I think it's more to them not wanting Carson Wentz than just his play. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So listen, speaking of that, I thought you was gonna go here. I'm glad we took your boy off that top 15 list, man.
Oh,
Sean Watson.
come on, man. He ain't even played football in a while, man. Plus a few of those passes he dropped. That was drops.
That's why I got to put him. Listen, I got to see it. The few of them passes were dropped. My man was 1 for 9 though. All of them wasn't dropped.
Nah, it was three was dropped. I did see three that was dropped. One was an overthrow. It was
Four.
like timing.
So we're talking about 4 for 9.
I'm not.
Listen,
Listen, man.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I was suspecting to see Deshaun Watson light it up, and maybe
I
that was
wasn't.
my expectation
Why?
because that was,
He hadn't played football in how long?
because people still tout him as, and we said it, as a top 5 talent at that position. I don't care how many games you miss. You don't forget to play the game of football.
No, you don't. But you got to get acclimated too, bro.
What have you been doing in practice and in training camp?
I could have said something, but I'm not. There's still the adjustment to the game, the live game action versus like people say sparring is different from actually being in there. It's different the practices versus the game.
I get it, but people were expecting him to make the Browns take the Browns to another level this year.
Hmm.
And if this is how he look in preseason, he's going to be suspended for the first 6 games in the regular season, which means you're going to miss
More time.
more games. And then I'm supposed to just expect you to come back and be a top 5 quarterback and take us to another level. Like, bruh, the best thing that could probably happen for him, based off of what I saw this weekend, is for him just get suspended the whole season, and ride it out, come back next season fresh, because I still believe him as a talent. But if he comes back let's say he come back week 7 and he just trash for the rest of the season, I'm like, dog, like,
I still think he got it in him, man. I just think that I mean uh he's had a lot to deal with. So for him to get I think yeah, it's been a lot for him to deal with. Not only just missing football, but outside of football. So
and based on what you said, right? If the 6 is held up, it's not just gonna go away. So he's still gonna be dealing with that off the field stuff.
but this is the first time though. This is the first time that he's been on the
Been on
field
the field.
since
Yeah.
everything. You know what I mean?
I
So
thought he would have balled out, man. I thought just to get the distractions out. Yeah, I mean, just to take his mind off of everything that he got going on. The game that I love, I'm finally back playing the game that I love, and I just want to get be distraction free. I thought he would have balled out in the preseason game.
This might actually be good for him, for in a sense to where like people would actually start talking about his play on the field versus what's going on off the field. Like what's going on with them to where it may motivate him to. I don't know.
Nah, I hear you. I get it. So the other things I got written down is the rest of the 2021 class. They look boot. Rest of the quarterbacks.
You like Trevor Lawrence?
Like I said, which one of y'all had the Jack? It was Biff who had who tried to put Trevor Lawrence on our top 15.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, bruh, he was 6 for 12 with like 95 passing yards.
He looked okay out there, in my opinion. It looked better than last year.
If you look, well, listen, the bar was set low last year.
Yeah, so very much.
So he had to look better than last year. But when you are touted as a generational talent, the next up, you're the number 1 overall pick. You go out there and look like that. He another one I thought he was gonna come out and light it up.
Hey, Todd Maranovich was a highly touted quarterback. So, I mean, Trevor Lawrence has the arm talent, man. I just think that I really think that last year, this year to me is his rookie year, and that's no knock to him. It's just how the franchise is in this very quick. Urban Meyer, and I really think that Doug Peterson brings some stability to the Jaguars, and I think that the sense of him being a former quarterback in the NFL and having success with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz and whatnot, I think that that's going to translate to helping Trevor Lawrence be at least a glimpse of what we assumed him to be as the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just got to see it. And they spent the Jags spent a lot of money to surround him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he got to be better. Yeah, I mean, I also think Justin Fields, they wasting him. When we talked about it, I think two shows ago, when you invest that much into a quarterback, you have to surround that side of the ball with talent, not the other side of the ball with talent. I don't know who he out there throwing the ball to. Outside of Darnell Mooney. Bruh, I didn't know half. Huh?
I said Byron Pringle.
Byron Pringle, Benjamin Victor. They brought in N'Keal Harry, who injured now.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Who is his receivers? Like, and he gonna get talked about because he was a highly touted quarterback. He's in a big market, and they losing. So he's gonna get talked about. But it ain't on him. Tom Brady can't win with that team, bro. Like, Tom Brady couldn't win with that team, bro. They gonna have the number 1 pick next year.
Yeah.
They got number 1 pick next year. And they won 7 games last year.
I think the Patriots, man.
You said you think the Patriots gonna have the number 1 pick?
Speaking of, yeah. You know, Matt Patricia was calling play calls on offense.
Bruh. I ain't even put them in my unimpressive list, but bruh.
Is Bill Belichick sabotaging the Patriots?
Or either that, or he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Like, he thinks whatever he does works. I drafted Tom Brady in the 6th round.
Yeah, I did that.
I did that. Now he thinking like, so what? I lost Josh McDaniels. He was my protege. Watch what I do with Matt Patricia, and not just Matt Patricia. Watch what I do with Joe Judge, bruh. That's a special teams coach and a defensive coach.
Call it offensive plays.
Call the offensive plays, and you're a defensive coach. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in New England, but I think Tom Brady is showing who it really was.
I don't know. I think it might have more to do with Kraft and Belichick's relationship.
So you saying Bill really sabotaging? He's like, man, F y'all.
Man, some of these decisions are questionable. Like even the lineman that they picked in the first,
Cole Strange.
like even Todd McShay was like, well, not Todd McShay,
bruh.
McVay. Sean McVay was like, what?
He was like, and
we had him going in the third round.
Right. It wasn't just the pick in the first round. To me, their whole draft was questionable to me. I'm like, dog, y'all picked Tyquan Thornton in the second round?
Hey, so you know how on Madden, on franchise, right? And you go to pick, and you can do like simulate. They simulate. They simulated all.
Bill Belichick was like, bruh, I don't give a F who we pick. I don't care. Like, yo, I was like, dog, Cole Strange, Tyquan Thornton, like, yeah. But Bill said, listen, Bill said, man, he can coach anybody, bro. I picked Tom Brady in the sixth round, bro. I can coach anybody. I found what's the boy name? Cornerback. Who I found Malcolm Butler in free agency. Like, that's how he think, bro. That's probably how he think.
Yeah.
Long as I get him in here, I can coach him up. Bill, ain't been working for you for 2 seasons, good brother. Sorry. Zach Wilson, the movie he did was dumb, and he just looked young. And they surrounded him with a lot of talent as well. So that whole 2021 draft looked weak. And then for me, Jordan Love, he looked so.
Yeah, I thought the same. And that wasn't because they was playing against the 49ers. And yeah, the stat sheet, I mean, looked like he had 3 interceptions. I only think like one was really like legit. The other 2 was like on some pop-up type stuff. But overall, like nothing seemed. I just didn't see anything to me to feel like Aaron should be in any type of rush whatsoever.
I thought the Packers was like, man, Aaron Rodgers came away like, I'm about to ask for another pay raise.
Yeah. And they're looking like we're gonna give it to you too.
All right, Aaron, whatever you want, bro. Whatever you want. That's how I look. But I'll say that.
And the thing is that I don't even see anything that stuck out to where like when it's time for him to get some type of money or whatever. Like, what is it going to look like on free agency? You know what I mean?
Jordan Love?
Yeah, like nothing is shown to where even when he's played in the season, nothing has shown to me like he should have been in the first round.
To me, you do see glimpses of his talent, but you also see like his decision making is like could you tell me what you saw when you made that play?
And
like, take me through what you saw when you made that throw.
And it hasn't grown since he came in. Like you said, to me it seems like it's stagnant. It's like, bro, I would have thought that, yeah, you may not be getting all the reps in practice, but you being a professional for this many years, there should be some type of growth. Like, bro, I seen more out of Brock Purdy than I did out of you. And he's Mr. Irrelevant.
He hungry. He ain't got that. He ain't got that first round check.
Right, right.
That's what it is with Jordan Love. Like Jordan Love, his arm talent, you see it. Like you can see the arm talent, but it's just like, bruh, it's more than football than just talent. Your arm talent, bruh.
Marcus Russell can tell you that.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna say. Jamarcus Russell got all the arm talent in the world. Couldn't put it all together. So that's all I had with my football impressive and unimpressive list. Yeah, anybody else?
We talked about everyone. My biggest takeaway was is Bill Belichick sabotaging the Patriots. That is really my thought process when I look at some of the things that's going on there in New England. Um, I don't know. Like I know that we've seen them win with Tom Brady and company, um, with the likes of Gronkowski as well. But this right here is like I really think the way that they got spanked in that playoff game is going to be indicative of this whole entire season.
I do got one thing that just popped in my head. You know, the Giants have never had a starting black quarterback. Could this be the year that we actually see the Giants have a black quarterback that starts for them?
They might trade for Jimmy G before they start talking.
Before they have Tyrod Taylor out there.
Nah, I think Daniel Jones just does enough to stay the starting quarterback. Like it's like flashes to where it's like, is it really his fault? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just not enough to. I mean, the record is indicative for itself. The stats are it's just certain moves, certain plays that he has to where it's like, okay, we see it in it. You know what I mean? And there can be certain runs that he has during the game to where he may have like two or three good drives. Like he's not a very bad quarterback. It's just that he makes a lot of bad decisions. And it seems like it's more bad decisions that outweigh the good, which in this league, you being that high of a pick, I mean, you see that they're not giving you your money, so you either got to put up or you're going to end up being a backup in this league.
He Carson Wentz-esque. Talented,
Hey,
but when certain key moments, it's like I just said with Jordan Love, take me through your thought process of what you just the decision you just made, because that doesn't make no sense. That ain't how we drew it up on the board. Like,
just the only thing with Carson though is the fact that he had that MVP like year. You know what I mean? I really feel like people who sign him are chasing that. They're like, if we can get a glimpse of that, or at
yeah,
least
we can get that facts.
75% of that, then we can have an above average quarterback. But it's just like after he did that, man, it's like he ain't been right since, man.
Bro,
And it's not even physically.
it's just mental.
Yeah, like the throws be too high. His throw motion and changed, and
He
it's
still thinks he's that 2017 guy.
yeah, that guy's gone, man. That guy left in L.A. that day.
Facts. He gone. He ain't coming back. And I think that's where his struggle is. He's in that in between where he just be who you are now. And I don't think
Yeah.
he understands that. All right. Now y'all know what it is to the meat potatoes of what we here for the night. Serena has been hinting that she's retiring. Got me to thinking, who are the top 5 athletes of all time across all sports? And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like every list, I struggle a little bit with this list, with this joint. I did. So I do got some honorable mentions I'm gonna throw out there. I do.
Well, go ahead, throw out your honorable mentions, and then we can go with our five.
I got Michael Phelps.
Okay, that is that's
I,
one hell of an honorable mention.
I got Mike. I got Hussein Bolt.
Hmm.
Honorable mention. Um, and then, that's really it. I ain't really you don't really need to talk to nobody else. But Hussein Bolt, Michael Phelps, oh, and Roger Federer. I mean not Rafael Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal.
Okay. Okay. Um, I didn't have any honorable mentions. I um I
So we
kind of
can
try
jump
to
right
make
to
it
it.
easy for myself.
Huh?
I made it. I said I try to make it easy for myself. I pretty much said it in my lifetime.
I got you.
Uh,
Same.
what I've saw with my own two eyes.
Same thing.
Um, so
So
you want to go five, five, four, four,
yeah,
three, three.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So at number five, I have who you have in your honorable mention. You saying both.
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Hussein.
his run from what 2008 to 2017 makes him one of, if not the greatest sprinter ever.
I think he is the
So
greatest sprinter ever.
yeah, all those goals from Olympics to World Championships, name speaks for itself, man.
Yeah. I think and I'm interested to see if you got who you got in your five, like always in all these lists. But as much as I talk down about this person, when you think about it, you can't leave him off the list, and that's Floyd Mayweather.
Ooh,
50-0, bro. Like the greatest boxer boxer I've ever seen in my lifetime. Like pure boxer from a marketing standpoint. Like we talk about the best all around rapper. I always say Jay Z. He's the best all around rapper. When you say who, if I had to put all these things in one, put it in the machine, and come out, you're gonna come out with Jay Z.
yeah,
I had to put all these things in one, all these things in the boxer that you look for. You put it in the machine, you're gonna come out with Floyd Mayweather. He's a marketer. He boxes. He did have knockout power when he was younger. He's a defensive fighter, and he's undefeated.
yeah. And what sucks to the casual fan is that they missed Pretty Boy Floyd. Like Money Mayweather is the one that broke all the records and the pay per view buys, but the boxing fans and the Floyd Mayweather fanatics or whatever you want to call them know about Arturo Gotti, about uh, Corley, about Zab Judah. Even though he was losing up to, in my opinion, Zab Judah was getting him. But even Oscar De La Hoya, you know what I mean? So a lot of people miss those treats. And then when you talk about it, they just think of the Floyd Mayweather they think about now. But I mean, he transitioned. He changed the game of boxing, to be quite honest. Um, he's one of the first ones that I've seen, besides Oscar De La Hoya, to really turn his boxing career into a lucrative promotional company. And yeah, the money team. So that you had him at five.
At 5.
Okay. So at four, I had Serena. Um, I think that she is arguably one of the greatest tennis players, both men and women. Um, and I think that the the length of her reign, from her being a teenager all the way up until now. Yeah, she had some lapses in between, but I mean, like when Serena got on the court, you already knew what it was. You know what I mean? And Her reign of dominance, I think, was just the one that catapulted, in my opinion, that put her in that top five of goats for me.
I got you. So I got Tiger at 4. But I am
Mm.
going to touch on Serena when I get to where she is, because she on my list, because she is the reason that we make the list. I made the list, so she got to be on there. But Tiger, his reign, 97, even till now,
Tiger Woods.
like when Tiger shows up, that's why people watch.
Mm-hmm.
I think even Live Sports or Live Golf just offer him a $700 million deal that he turned down. Of course, I would have took that thing, Tiger. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
you on your last leg, Tiger.
like he just turned down. And I know Phil got more masters than him, but he was it for
Yeah.
the longest time. He was the draw. Like to me, like Floyd, he's the draw. Tiger Woods shows up to your Masters. Tiger Woods shows up to your event. You
Mm-hmm.
just went in to watch Tiger. I didn't watch golf for nobody else before Tiger. I don't watch golf now unless Tiger in it. Like, and that's for most people.
Right.
Unless you're the diehard golf person, the casual golf watcher like me, I ain't watching it for Rory. I ain't watching it for Justin. I ain't watching it for Jordan Speed. Even though I know all these people, I'm watching it if Tiger's in it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was really the only reason why I watch golf. Is to watch what Tiger did. I mean, you would have to mully through a lot of different golfers to finally watch him go. So I definitely, yeah, yeah, he's the run that he had, just the representation of him being Calibination or whatever he calls himself. Shout out to Tiger Woods, y'all. So at 3, I have Floyd Money Mayweather. He's at 3 more so because of bias. Um, but nah, man, I know some people love to hate him, but listen, man, I watched this guy from the young pup all the way up when he took the hiatus and came back, took another hiatus, came back. Um, how for some reason they thought this guy named Pacquiao was going to beat him without steroids. I didn't understand that, not a bit. Um, I seen this guy rule the lightweight division all the way up to welterweight, and even school what people considered now or a few months ago as the best pound for pound fighter now, and he's been retired for a few years now. Um, so I mean, he did it in the boxing ring. He's done it in business. Uh, I mean, he's been the highest grossing athlete and only had to work for 72 minutes. So that says a lot to me. So Floyd
Listen,
Mayweather,
if we talking about money per time you work, Hussein Bolt got it, man.
oh
Hussein
yeah,
Bolt,
yeah, that's a fact. That's definitely a fact. 10 seconds worth of work.
he get his money faster than anybody else. But yeah, Floyd, man, listen, the record speak for itself, man. I was one of the ones who, um, like when you're a sports person and you love sports, you have to have somebody that you hate. You
Mhm.
just, I don't know why, but it's just the name of being the sports head. You have to
Right.
have somebody you hate. But as you grow and you develop a love for just the sport and greatness, there's no way that you can say that he is not, to me, the greatest fighter that I've ever seen. Just fighter, boxer.
Hmm.
I can say he's the greatest fighter, but he's the greatest boxer that I've ever seen. So my 3 is Serena.
So we on the same wavelength pretty much.
Serena got 39 Grand Slams, bro.
Yeah.
She got 39 Grand Slams. She got 20. She got 25 in singles and 14 in doubles and mix.
Yeah.
She is the greatest golf. She is the greatest tennis player of all time, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Regardless of girl, women, or men, she's the greatest tennis player. She got 39 Grand Slams.
That's crazy. Yeah.
No, that's enough said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
um, at 2, I got Thomas Brady. Um, he's a Michigan guy, so I have love for him. I still didn't understand why he was sharing time his senior year anyway. But when he got into the league and he won the first championship, I was happy for him. But then when he just kept winning, it kind of was frustrating me. And he became the bully. Uh, and I just seen the bully get punched in the mouth twice by Eli, and that actually made me respect him. And seeing him actually lose, it's the fact that like I seen how much res- hatred that he had and the respect, and just like, bro, just sit back and really analyze it and like, this man has been there 10 Super Bowls. Well, at that time it was 4-6 or 4-2 or 5-2, something like that when he lost it. I don't know, but it was like he was 19-0 before we got here with Randy Moss. The it's something about Eli in the championship that they don't get along. But other than that, like we've talked about it before, he's been to the Super Bowl half of his playing career. The Super Bowl, not the playoffs, but the Super Bowl. And
I
that
don't think.
says a lot when like we call the likes of Joe Montana to go, but he's 4-0. My man has been to 10.
Bruh, bruh. I don't think my man ever missed the playoffs. He's never missed the playoffs. The one time the Patriots missed the playoffs,
Yeah, he
he was
was out.
injured.
Yeah.
He was injured. He's never missed the play. I think he missed the playoff. No, I think he missed the playoffs. I think his rookie year. No, I think he started. I can't remember. But since he's been the starter, he's never missed the playoff. He borderline never missed the championship game. And I'm gonna tell you why. Again, he was one of the ones that you hate because you need us again. You need sports. I rooted for him his first championship because I didn't like the Rams. I didn't want to see them win back to back. When he won it, and then when they just kept winning, I'm like, all right now, like, all right, like,
Nothing is nothing.
I need somebody, I need somebody new, bro. I need somebody new, like, but he is so obsessed with winning to the point where like where he eat, the way he prepares, everything. Avocado, like homie said, you don't eat.
It's the avocado.
My man eat avocado ice cream.
Oh, wow.
He said he don't eat strawberries because it gives him aches. He don't eat tomatoes.
Like,
He said, man, listen, it don't work for. He don't like the inflammation. It gives him inflammation.
okay.
Like to be that obsessed about winning.
Yeah.
That okay, I'm not gonna eat that because it's not gonna put me at my maximum peak of winning.
It's dope. That's
Bruh.
dope.
But yeah, and on top of the other guy, man. And again, I almost put them two as 1A and 1B, but for what MJ did for the NBA, MJ, once he started, just like Tom Brady, but once MJ learned how to win,
It's a wrap.
it was over. Like, the only reason that he lost because he retired twice. Like, or we would be talking about him in the same breath, championship wise, as Bill Russell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from 91 to, because again, he retired 98.
Mm-hmm.
If he retired 94, 95, he got them 2 championships right there. That's 8 rings. He come back in 99 because that team just won the championship. They come back, they beat the Spurs, bro. We being real. They beat the Spurs. That's 9 championships. And who's to say he don't come back in 2000
No.
with a reloaded team?
No. You're not beating the likes of the Lakers.
Bruh.
We're not starting that. We're not starting that. Nope.
And
It's too late.
okay, I'll say this. That 2000 Lakers,
The Bulls never had a legit big.
no, they didn't.
So who gonna
They-
stop shot?
So I'm trying to think about that 2000 Lakers. That 2000 Lakers struggled against Indiana, but not even struggled against Indiana. But I think they went 6 or 7 in that series against Indiana.
6. And Rick Smith was good.
Bruh,
He's
MJ win
74.
that series. If it was the 2001 Lakers, though, they ain't beating them. They ain't beating the 2001 Lakers. They might have got 2 because AI got you 1, but they ain't beating that 2001 Lakers. But that 2000 Lakers, bruh, MJ could legit have 9 or 10 rings, bruh. He could legit have 9 or 10 championships
In a row.
in a row. Like,
Yeah, I
why?
got MJ.
Listen, this I know you're gonna love this.
Him and Muhammad Ali. I didn't
You
really
said
see
you had
Muhammad
between
Ali.
him and Muhammad.
Yeah, him and Muhammad Ali. I know I said in my lifetime I never seen Muhammad Ali actually fight live, but I've watched just about all the major fights and some minor fights. But the biggest is the way that he handled the U.S. government.
Okay, so I guess they got too many losses on to be on my list real quick.
But nah, just that along with being the heavyweight champion 3 times and the rope-a-dope, his whole story, bro. Like,
Yeah, just everything about Muhammad, and
yeah,
I can when you put it all together,
mm-hmm.
if you
Ain't
put it
nobody
all
touching
together, he has to be on the list on anybody's list because he's in the same category with me as Bill Russell when we're talking about the. And I guess we'll do this list. The most
Yeah.
influential,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's on that list.
Right.
Like the most influential men in sports or men and women in sports, he definitely got to be on that. He probably headline one of those lists. So I agree with that, man. But MJ, why top Tom Brady for me is MJ played on both sides. He wasn't just an offensive player. He
He's
strapped.
6-0.
So
He's 6-0. That's
he's
all
6
I
and
got.
0. Tom Brady 7-3.
Everybody else lost. Even Floyd Mayweather lost in the Olympics. Serena lost some Grand Slams. Tom Brady lost some Super Bowls.
Yeah, Tiger Woods lost Masters.
Michael Jordan has not lost an NBA Finals.
I don't even know. Did Hussein Bolt lose, man? We gotta check that. We gotta check that.
Well, he had to lose to stop. I know he got a bronze like late in
Oh,
his career.
okay.
So
So I listen. That's the list, man. What we do, we gotta get when we get Biv together. We definitely gotta get to speak on it. Top five all
that's
time
yeah.
athletes. So, but hey, that's our show. Got any plugs? You got to because you're back.
Oh, see the dinner table. Season 2. Um, check us out on Facebook, YouTube. Uh, subscribe. Subscribe to Official Speak on It on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook as well. And if you're looking to purchase or to sell real estate in the state of Delaware, hit me up on Real Estate Tim, the number one, on Instagram or Facebook, Tamon Matthews Realtor, and I'll be more than happy to assist.
So Sadell,
So Shondell, he said so Sadell.
so
So
Sadell.
Shondell, handmade, beautiful polymer clay earrings made by my lovely wife, Kimberly, as we call her, Kim Dela Creme. Um, but you can go to simplyshondell.com for all your earring needs for your ladies.
So, we got the love walk. We got a couple of things in the works. But what we do is we do relationship counseling, marital counseling, premarital counseling. And now we also marry people as well. So if you want any of your marital needs, any relational stuff, you can holler at us on Facebook or Instagram. Um, Speak on It is going to have our annual kickball tournament, our kickball game. We're going to have that next year. Where we're going to big up on gun violence and mental health issues, which is super high in Delaware. So I want to bring awareness to that. Want to big up Diary of a Black Stepfather or Stepdad for my man Biv because he'd never do it. So I want to talk about the things that he's doing as well. He also got a book, so make sure that you definitely look into my man's book as well. But other than that, that's our show for tonight. Final thoughts. Um, I ain't got no final thought on top of my head.
Uh,
Uh,
uh, I ain't got one for you. Hold on,
I got
man.
one.
All right. Come on down, Milama.
It's not deep. I'm gonna just say this: bring BG home.
Okay, okay. And uh, I'm gonna say, Most High bless America.
Definitely, definitely.
That's the only thing I come up with, man.
Listen, that's a good one though, bro. Listen, we need that like more than ever right now,
Yeah,
brother.
yes, we do. Yes, we
We need
do.
that more than ever in America right now. But anyway, that's our show, man. If you like what you see, like Tamon said, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel or to our Facebook channel, and follow us on our Instagram. We also got a link tree on our Facebook page that you can see where we are on all our platforms. But until next time, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Speak on it.